Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Urmisha World. This video is in the continuation of the previous two videos, that is on the top 15 pandas data exploration function. So in those videos I've already shared the 10 important functions which are most useful whenever you do any data analysis, and here as well I will share the next 5 of those which are there in my list. So let's get started. So for this, you need to import the pandas library because eventually we are exploring the pandas package. So import this library, and here as well we are going to work on the cards related data set, and which I have already stored in the data frame df. So in today's list, number one is lock and iLock. Block and iLog is used whenever you want to select some specific rows and columns. So let's say based on some condition, some filtration. So in that case, we can use this lock and iLog just to separate those specific rows and columns out there from the data file. So if I summarize, then it's used for the data selection. So any specific data you want to select from this whole data file based on some condition, then you can use this lock and iLock. But there is a two methods that you can specify which rows and columns. So if you want to specify by any label, uh, then you should use this lock function. And if you want to specify this condition and want to select the data based on some index value, so every rows and every columns are being defined by their index value, and if you want to select by that index value, integer based index value, then you should use this ilog. So let's see one by one both this function, and it's not both the function is same, but just the way of representation and the way to specify this filtration or the data selection. So let's understand that one by one with some scenarios. So for this, let me first run df.head command. So this will give me what are the topmost five records are there in the file, and which are those columns. So here I can see this serial number, model, MPG, cylinder, this display maybe something, but it's specific to car. So this is a gear and carburetor and all those stuff is here. This is a weight which are there in pounds and all. So so these are related to the car. So what I am saying is these are the index value. If you say this is the row level index, that is 0, 1, 2, 3. So any first record of or any first row is been defined with an index value 0. Similarly, if you see the columns, then columns index value also starts with 0. So here in Python, whatever the first value is, so the index number here, the range starts from 0 to 1. So in the previous important session, not the important session, the important one of the session in which where I have given you this important functions. So in that I've already gave that one is in df dot index. So this is the df dot index is and let's run this cell, and you will see the range of this index starts from 0 to 32 and step by 1, which says that the every rows are being incremented by one value, and the total it starts from the 0th position and stop till 32. Point is less than 32, it's not equal to 32. 32 is the total index numbers. So this is what the index says. So here as well, for if you say for the column, this is at the row level they are saying. So what I am trying to say here, let's call any specific, let me first, let's say I want to filter this data based on cylinder. If the cylinder is equal to 4 and the MPG is greater than, let's say, 20 miles per gallon. So in that consideration, I want to select this records. So how I can do this? Okay, so here I have specified with the columns, right? And they have been labeled. You can do this with a label and without label. Without label means an integer. So let's first see how we can do this with the label. So for that, you need to first write df, sorry, not here, here, df dot log. Log for you want to specify in terms of label. So for log, within this, what I will write, df dot cylinder is equal to 4. We need two conditions here, that this condition and we want this, as this is an and, so we will add here the and operator, and we want this mpg df dot mpg, which is greater than, equal to, no, we want greater than 20 miles per gallon. If this condition satisfies, then I want, okay, let's first assign this with some specific, let's say df1. So I will assign this whole selection condition on df1, and now I want df1 dot head to get me this record. So now run the cell, and this is how you will get all the records. If I just simply remove this head as well and run this df1, then this is giving me these many are the records from this file which satisfy this condition. So let's see this. First, the cylinder has to be 4. So these are the 4 cylinders, wherever the cylinder 4, and the miles per gallon has to be more than 20. And if you see, there are not a single record here which is says less than 20. So less than or equal to 20. So this is how, using a log function, you can call or select your specific condition. You can write here the conditions, the specific rows and the columns that you want to find. So you want to get out of from this data file and extract that specific records. So this is how you can use the label. Now let's understand with how we can do the same thing with ilog. So for this, what I will write, df dot, here I will write the ilog, and in this condition, for this you need to call df dot ilog, and in this ilog you need to pass based on the index number. So if you understand the index number, then this starts with 0, this starts with 1, and this will be 2, this will be 3, this will be 4, and so on. And if you see in this as well, it will starts from 0 and last till 31. That is the last one. So this is how the index value range from column level or a row level. It starts from 0. So if I want to call this based on this condition, the cylinder comes as a index number 3. So here I will write df.ilog, and here I will mention 0, 0, not a 0 but colon, comma. This first column says you will select all the rows. We are not specifying that which particular row we want to select. We are just simply giving based on the column and their condition, and with respect to that we are want to have this whole records. So here, if you want to select a specific row, then you can specify in the slicing. So after that, in the after comma, you can mention which column you want to specify. So let's say here for the cylinder I want specific, that is a 3. So what I'll write here, I need a specific condition that it has to be, the cylinder has to be 4. So I will simply write here 4, and I will keep this in open and close bracket, which is the round bracket. And again, with the AND operator, I will again write the next condition. And in this condition, what I will write, df dot, again, ilog. Ilog is used for the integer index based, specifying the location of your record, that is based on rows and the column. So here, what we'll write for the mpg, that is number 2. But as this is slicing, we have to make select, we have to need to select. So slicing, this is for colon, the first before the comma, it will be represent for the rows, and after the comma will be for the column. So here we will select which column, that would be column number 2, and here the condition has to be greater than 20. After writing this whole condition, I will write within the bracket and call it with df, because if I write this df, then from the data frame I need to have this condition where I select the specific index number based column and their condition, and this is how. So now let's run this cell. This will give me the exact records that we want here. So this is how we can use the lock and the iLock. Mostly preferring is this one because it's easy to understand and readable in format. But if you do with this is very good method, because here there may be a possibility that you may wrongly or sometimes some manual error comes up because of writing the column name and all that. So rather than specifying in this way, the index is always the best method. So this is what the difference of lock and iLock. And now let's explore the next one. So in this list is a pivot table. So how we can do this pivoting? Pivoting, that is pivot underscore table. So this is the function which is useful whenever you want to do the pivoting. You do a lot whenever you use Excel. So same thing in Python, and with Pandas package, there is a pivoting the table. So how you can do the for the same data? So for that, let's write here df dot pivot table, and this pivot table is actually help you in creating the aggregation. But in aggregation, that would be an index number and the column name. So how we can define which is the column name? So let's create here for on the basis of column, which column that we want here on the top. I want something related to, let's say, for the cylinder. So I will write here cylinder. Now in this case, I want to specify what could be the index value here. So let's say the index as in these numbers. Right now it's represent with the number. So I want something in a different format. Let's say with the model, let's say. Better to have a unique value. But for every model, what would be there? And after that, there is one more thing, like what pivot table. Pivot table has to be some with the aggregated value or any specific column that you need to aggregate. So on what terms? So let's say I want to do it something with the related to HP. Then here I will mention in single bracket HP and comma. So this is how we define what could be the column names, that is cylinder values which are there. So that many columns will be defined. So in cylinder, if you see, if I write here and say that what are the unique values within the cylinder, if I say then df dot cyl, and I will write the value counts. If I say not just value counts will give me a lot of information, but let's say I want to run this, then this cylinder value are 8, 4 and 6, and with respect these are the unique records within that. For 8, these are the 14 of them which are having the same value. Similarly, 4 cylinder is equal to 4, that is 11 of those record out of this file. So if you see, then 846 could be the column name. That would be the column name. The index is the this model names that we have, and HP is the aggregated value that we're going to create with the pivot. So let's simply run this cell and see how this pivot table looks like. Once you run this, you will see the columns are now defined with the cylinder values. As I told you here, that 8, 4, 6. So these are those cylinder values, and this create an individual column, and this model becomes the index value. If you see, these are the model names. So whatever the model names are, with respect to that, this HP has been defined. Let's say MVC Javelin, then this is for the um, cylinder 8 has been defined for this HP. So this is how you can see that this individual model has been defined for a single particular cylinder based records. There is no same model being defined for the two different cylinder names and all that. So this is how you can create your pivot table, and which is most useful, and if you want to do and try something as similar to the Excel where you do the pivoting. So this is what's my number 2 in my list. Now let's explore the number third, that is the 13th of the whole top 15 of them. So in this, I will see, I'm sorry, I'll show you set index and reset index. So set index and reset index, as you can see, these are the index values. For the previous one, we saw that we set up something as a model. But I want to similarly, this is one of the way where we have set the index as with the model in the pivot table. But how we can do for a normal data file? I don't want to do anything with the pivoting the table and all that. So how we can do? So simply just writing df dot set index. I want to set the index based on what? Based for, if you see, for this whole file, I want to set this index based on, let's say here, I want to specify that with the model itself. Then for this, you need to assign to the specific column, specific data frame. So I'm just giving a df1, and I will set and give it df dot set index, set underscore index, and in that I will just simply mention on what index value you want to define. And after this, just call df1 dot head, and now run the cell. You will see this particular column has been removed from this, and it becomes the model. That particular model becomes your index value. There would not be any change in your data. It will remain as it is. The model respective value will remain as it is, but that model, particular model, become the index value for your whole data set. So this is how you can set an index. But now if you want to reset and back it to the normal, then how you can do that? So for this, what you need, simply df dot reset index. If I do and write simply the reset index, and again I will define as df1, and see what is there with the df1 dot head, run this cell. You will see now the model comes again back to the normal position, and whatever, while resetting the index, this index number which is highlighted with a bold black in color is actually, it's giving you this index number. This is same, there is no change at all. So you feel like, okay, new column has been added, but no, there is no new column has been added. This index is just set, and it's defining you that this is the index. If it's won't mention, then this will be the as it is. So this is how, if you can see, that you can set or reset the index. You must be wondering why we need that, but this is required when you randomly choose something, random sampling you do, and in that case, some random records been fetched, or sometimes the duplicates has been removed. So when you remove the duplicates, it will be randomly removed from in between. So in that case, the numbers which becomes blank, I mean not a blank, but they are being deleted. so that particular index deleted, so how you can again sequence them in particular order? So for that, you simply have to use this set and reset index, and this is how you can utilize, which is one of the important function there for whenever you do the data analysis. Definitely a data exploration part, because you explore your data in such a way. So this is a part which comes maybe at the end of the whenever you do the whole cleansing of your data, and then you perform this. But this is one of the important one. Now the next one in my list, number 14, is subsetting rows and columns. Many a times you don't want to work with all of these data, or you want to split your data. This splitting option or subsetting the rows and columns is really really important when you tran and test when for train and the test data. When you do any splitting, when you do the split, you need to assign something as in like x for some independent variables and y as in a target variable. So kind of this operation or this process you will always follow it. And in that case you need to subset your rows based on some columns that you want to define, that these column has to be there. Or whenever you want to work something like, I want to subset some specific data type based record, let's say those who are numeric, or those who are in object based, a string type or a float type. So whatever, it depends on the condition. But right now we are simply focusing on how you can subset those columns, or how you can create that rows or columns. So for that, simply this is a very in a single one code line you have to write df, and here I will write two box bracket, and within that I will mention which are the columns that I want to define here. Let's say I want to give it model mpg cylinder, and let's say I want the horsepower, and simply run this cell. You will get this subset of the of this whole data. There's no change in the data, just simply it gives you the subset of this, not a whole data. Maybe you need to perform on particularly on this these many columns. You don't need all of them to call all the time. So this is how you can have your subsetting the rows and columns, one of the most important one. So don't miss this out. Definitely give it a practice on this, but it's always useful whenever you do the data analysis. Now the very last of this list, and sorry, in this list is adding a new column. Now, this is really really important. Adding a new column, you might derive something new. As I have already given one example in one of the video where I said, if you have, let's say, the birth date of any particular person, then you can easily derive on the basis of this current date that what could be the age. So that is a derive, that is a feature engineering. So feature engineering is also a part where you perform your data analysis and you add a new column. So this is the most important, and here comes a creativity and your logistic skill and your understanding on the data. So you can create in various ways and in n number of ways to create these new columns. But for just for your understanding, I will show you how you can use your already existing data, and with respect to that you can create this one. Okay, so let's see how you can add a new column, which is the most important amongst all of them. The most important is to create, because it's not that always the data which is what you see, which is in your hand, is exactly that you need to perform on whole analysis. You always need to create some new fields you derive out of your data file. So let's see what is there with this final one and how you can create here. There is no function. This is just a way you do the data manipulation. So there is no function at all. It's simply the pandas is giving you the privileges to work on this way and create your new fields. Okay, so let's explore this as well. As you can see, this is a very standard data file, and we cannot create any new field out here because it's already miles per gallon is calculated, number of cylinders, even the displacement is already given, the horsepower is already defined, weight, then this q second, which is how fast when when you pull just give it a uh, accelerator on your pad, then how it's um, in how many seconds it's reacting, or uh, this is uh, AM is for automatic or manual, gear, carburetor. This V as in V shape or S shaped kind. So this is actually a very straightforward data file we cannot create here. So what I'm thinking is, let's create a new sample file which gives us an idea where we can create or do something on this column. So for this, let's simply, I have this one, so I'll simply paste here this one. That is, I've imported this numpy for this. Don't worry about, because numpy is for this whole data frame that I want to create here, which is based on the fruits and their price. And this is what the tax amount which is taken on the top of this price of this individual fruits. And here I have 5 of those fruits: mango, banana, grapes, orange, kiwi, and their respective price and the tax amount is. So let's first run this cell. And now let's see what this file is. So I'll simply write df, and these are my top 5 records, and which is what this whole file is, because this is just a sample file. So now here I want to add a new column. So how I can add here? So what we can do actually, if you see the price and the text amount, then what is the final price of this fruit? Then for this, I would say that the price plus the text amount, because that's what I have to pay on the top of all these fruits. So what I will write here, simply df, and within this I will mention the price, then minus, not a minus, plus, because we need to add the text amount. So in this I will write the text underscore amount. Here for this calculation, I will create a new column. So I will give it a new name here within this file. So I will write here the final price. Let's say, what is the final price? And I will write in a quotes and is equal to. So whatever the calculation you create here, so any arithmetic operation you can run. So after doing this, it should be stored in a final price column. So let's run this cell. And now let's see what is there in this file now. Now run this cell. So now you can see the price of this, the data frame is now have included a new column here, which is with the name that we have assigned at the new column, that is the final price. And you can see this price plus text amount is already there. So this is how you can create a new column. This is a simple one. I'm sure you will have to create a lot of uh, one of the example like a Netflix, where on the basis of how long this person are viewing this, watching this, so retention rate, lifetime cycle or something, all of these are some certainly based on any Netflix data, and on the top you need to create this. So lot of new columns you might require to create when you will deal with directly with the actual issues and their respective data. And so this is how you can create, simply do the calculation, and yes, you can have a new column. So this is how so these are all my top 15 data uh, ex- exploration functions that are there. I'm sorry, I'm fumbling here in between, but so all of these which are the most important, if you learn this one thoroughly and understand how you can apply them in your analysis, then I would say that you have learned the Pandas, because Pandas is the important for your data analysis, or you want to become or have your career growth in data analyst or in a data science field. So if you learn this 15 of those data exploration functions, I think you won half of your battle for becoming this data expert, data analysis. Okay, so I hope you like this video. If you really like, then do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And yes, just for your convenience, I have already added those videos in the description box, so please watch all the videos and see and perform all this, because at the end you need to have a practice on this, and then you can understand where and how you can apply this. So please do support me, share this video to all your friends and the group circle that are there with for the data science. And if you really like, then please write in a comment section, appreciate, or share us any feedback or something. And even if you want something, a specific video and any specific content that you want, then I will create the video for you. So please do support, and thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one.